Its biggest weaknesses are repetition, inflated claims, rough transitions, too many shock phrases, several awkward or broken words, and credibility problems caused by sounding too absolute. Almost every food is framed like a miracle, so the trust drops over time. The pacing also jumps hard from muscle to swelling to collagen, which makes it feel stitched together instead of flowing naturally. So I rewrote it to keep the same long-form spoken format, but made it smoother, simpler, more vivid, more emotional, and more engaging. I also used punchier everyday language, kept the senior audience in focus, and made the flow feel more natural. The rewritten script below is exactly 24,000 characters. If you are over 60 and you think getting stronger means dumping a pile of money into protein powder, fancy meat, and miracle health products, stop right there, because that story has robbed a lot of people. Your muscles do not care about shiny tubs, loud labels, or expensive promises. They care about food your body can actually use, food you can afford, and meals you will keep eating week after week. That is where real strength begins. It does not begin in a glossy ad. It begins in your kitchen. After 50, the rules start to change. Muscle slips away faster, recovery drags, energy can dip without warning, legs feel heavier, joints get louder, simple chores start acting like hard labor. Getting out of a chair, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, standing at the stove, even walking across a parking lot can feel like more work than it should. That is why this matters so much. This is not about chasing some Beachbody dream. It is about keeping your power, your balance, your freedom, and your right to live without asking your body for permission every 5 minutes. The good news is you do not need a luxury budget to help your body fight back. Some of the best foods for older adults are not glamorous at all. They are cheap, plain, easy to store, and sitting quietly in regular stores while expensive products scream for attention. So let us cut through the noise. I am going to walk you through a lineup of simple foods that can help support muscle, help ease swelling, and help your joints feel more ready for life. They are not magic. They are better than magic. They are practical. Let us start with sardines, because these tiny fish punch way above their size. A lot of people hear the word sardines and instantly make a face, and I get it. They are not flashy, they are not cute, they do not sound exciting, but when it comes to affordable protein, useful fats, and smart nutrition for aging muscles, sardines are little silver firecrackers. They give you serious protein, omega fats, calcium from the soft bones, and a shelf-stable option that does not rot in the fridge before you remember it is there. That matters more than people think. The best health food in the world is useless if it spoils, costs too much, or feels like a giant production every time you want to eat it. Sardines are the opposite of that mess. Open the can and they are ready. Mash them with lemon, pepper, and a little mustard on toast. Flake them into pasta, toss them on a salad, stir them into scrambled eggs. If the taste feels bold, pair them with herbs, tomato, hot sauce, or avocado, and they mellow out fast. They are cheap, fierce, and built for real life. Next comes cottage cheese, the old school sleeper that almost nobody brags about, even though it earns its place every single day. Cottage cheese is not trendy, and honestly, that is part of its charm. It is one of those foods that does not waste your time trying to impress you. It just quietly shows up with a heavy hit of protein and keeps your muscles fed for hours. That slower protein release can be useful for older adults who do better with a steady stream of building blocks instead of one fast burst that disappears in a blink. And cottage cheese is a lot more flexible than people give it credit for. You can keep it savory with cracked pepper, chopped cucumber, and dill. You can go sweet with berries, cinnamon, and a few nuts. You can blend it into a smoothie for a creamy texture without turning the drink into a sugar bomb. You can spread it on toast, stir it into eggs, or use it in place of richer cheese in simple dishes. It may look humble, but humble foods often do the heaviest lifting. Then you have lentils, those tiny pantry workhorses that deserve far more respect than they get. Lentils are not just cheap protein. They bring fiber, iron, B vitamins, and steady fuel. That is important because staying strong is not only about one number on a label. It is also about energy, blood flow, digestion, and the ability to keep going without crashing. When meals give you protein and staying power together, your body gets more support and your day gets less shaky. Red lentils cook fast and turn soft and creamy, which is great for soups, stews, or anyone who wants food that is easier to chew. Brown and green lentils stay firmer and feel heartier, almost meaty in the way they sit on a fork. You can simmer them with onion, garlic, and spices, toss them into salads, spoon them beside roasted vegetables, or fold them into rice bowls. They stretch meals without making them feel sad or skimpy. That is a beautiful trick when food prices keep climbing. Canned tuna belongs in this conversation too. It is simple, lean, affordable, and endlessly useful. For many older adults, tuna is one of the easiest ways to keep a muscle-friendly food in the house without much effort. No prep, no drama, no complicated recipe needed. Open the can and you are halfway to a decent meal. Mix it with a little yogurt, mustard, or olive oil. Put it on crackers. Add it to pasta. Stir it into a salad. Make a quick patty with egg and seasoning. It is not glamorous, but it gets the job done, and sometimes that is exactly what makes a food brilliant. Now let us talk about eggs, because eggs might be the champion of cheap strength. People overlook them because they are so common, but that is exactly why they are gold. Eggs slide into almost any meal. They cook fast. They are portable. They are filling. They offer complete protein and useful nutrients in one tidy little package. Most important, whole eggs matter. The yolk is not just there to look pretty. It brings valuable nutrients that work together with the protein instead of sitting on the sidelines. Boil a batch and keep them ready in the fridge. Scramble them with spinach and onions. Poach them over toast. Turn them into an omelet with leftovers. Add them to rice, soup, or even a quick wrap. Eggs are the kind of food that make it easier to eat well when you are tired, busy, or just plain not in the mood to fuss. A simple food that survives real life is often more powerful than an ideal food that only exists in fantasy. Greek yogurt is another beast when it comes to value. Thick, creamy, high in protein, and easy to dress up or dress down. It can play breakfast, snack, lunch helper, or sauce base without breaking a sweat. One of the reasons it shines is that it gives you useful protein in a form that is easy to work into the day. Add berries and nuts, stir in cinnamon, blend it into a smoothie, use it instead of sour cream, mix it into dressings, spread it into a bowl, and build around it. It is quiet strength in a spoon. And then there are dried beans, the budget king that too many people ignore while chasing flashy products that cost 10 times more. Beans are not fancy, but they are tough, loyal, and loaded with value. They bring protein, fiber, minerals, and slow-burning carbs all at once. That matters because muscles do not thrive on protein alone. They thrive when your whole system is supported, when your meals keep you steady, when your gut works better, and when you are not hungry again 20 minutes after eating. Black beans, kidney beans, navy beans, pinto beans, chickpeas, every type brings something useful. Cook them in bulk and freeze portions. Spoon them into soup. Add them to salads, mash them on toast with spices and lemon, stir them into rice, eat them with eggs, season them differently through the week so they do not get boring. Beans are one of the cheapest ways to build a plate that feels solid, satisfying, and smart. That is the heart of the muscle story. You do not need a premium diet to get stronger after 60. You need steady, affordable protein in forms you can actually live with. You need foods that show up again and again, not foods that blow your budget and disappear after 1 week of good intentions. Strength is not built by hype. It is built by repetition. It is built when the right foods keep landing on your plate until your body starts trusting that support is really there. Now let us shift to swelling, because heavy legs, puffy ankles, tight shoes, and that dragging, waterlogged feeling can suck the life out of a day. A lot of people shrug and say, well, that is just age, but your body is often sending a message that it wants better fluid balance, better hydration, less junk, and more real nourishment. Food will not solve every cause of swelling, but smart choices can support the body in ways that feel surprisingly good. Avocado is a strong place to begin. It is creamy, rich, and loaded with potassium, magnesium, and healthy fats. Those nutrients matter because muscles, nerves, and fluid balance all depend on them. Avocado also slows things down in a good way. Instead of a meal flying through your system and leaving you empty, avocado helps make food feel more grounding. Add it to toast, eggs, salads, beans, or sandwiches. Eat it with lemon and a pinch of salt. Slice it over dinner. It feels indulgent, but it works like a quiet fixer. Spinach deserves a spot too, especially when you cook it lightly instead of treating it like decoration in a cold salad. A quick steam or saute can make it easier to eat more of it and easier to pair with meals you already enjoy. Add spinach to eggs, soups, rice, pasta, beans, or a simple side with olive oil and garlic. It slips into the day without much fuss, and that is exactly why it can help. Coconut water can be a refreshing option for people who want something light and easy, especially in warm weather or after a day that leaves them feeling wrung out. The trick is not getting fooled by versions loaded with sugar. Plain is better. Watermelon can also earn its keep here. It is juicy, cooling, and simple. Pair it with a handful of nuts or some yogurt if you want the snack to stick with you longer and not vanish in 10 minutes. White beans deserve another shout because they bring more than protein. They also deliver potassium and fiber in a package that can help meals feel fuller and more balanced. Celery can add crunch and hydration. Apricots can be a handy, sweet option when you want something simple. Pistachios can give you a satisfying bite with minerals and healthy fats. None of these foods are magic bullets, but stacked together day after day, they can help your body feel less bogged down and more supported. And now we get to the collagen side of the story, which is where a lot of people start getting hit with huge promises and wild claims. Let us keep it real. There is no single miracle food that turns back the clock overnight. But your body does need enough protein, enough vitamin C, and enough overall nourishment to keep joints, skin, and connective tissues in better shape. That means simple foods matter again, not because they are glamorous, but because they are useful. Broccoli helps because vitamin C supports the body's own collagen-making work. Berries help for the same reason, and they bring color, flavor, and helpful plant compounds while they are at it. A bowl of yogurt with berries can do more than just taste good. A plate with broccoli beside a protein source can do more than just fill space. These foods are part of the repair crew. Sardines come back into the picture here because they carry protein and beneficial fats in one cheap package. Bone broth can fit into the routine too if you enjoy it. A warm broth can be soothing, easy to sip, and useful as a base for soups, grains, or stews. Chicken with the skin on, slow-cooked meats, and simple homemade broths can all have a place if they help you get more nourishment without making life harder. What matters most is not chasing one superstar food like it is some silver bullet dropped from the sky. What matters is building meals that keep sending your body the same clear message. Here is protein. Here are useful nutrients. Here is support. Here is fuel to repair, recover, and keep moving. The body listens to patterns more than promises. That is where many people get trapped. They hunt for the perfect product, the perfect supplement, the perfect miracle powder, the perfect quick fix. But the body usually answers rhythm before drama. It likes regular meals. It likes enough protein spread through the day. It likes whole foods repeated often enough to matter. That may not sound sexy, but it is potent, and potent beats flashy every time. So if you want to feel stronger, spend less, and stop letting age push you around, start small and stay sharp. Keep tuna or sardines in the pantry, keep eggs, yogurt, and cottage cheese in the fridge. Cook lentils or beans in batches, add berries to breakfast, stir spinach into dinner, slice avocado onto lunch. Sip broth when you want something warm and easy. This does not need to be fancy to be effective. In fact, simple usually wins because simple gets repeated. The real victory is not finding a trendy plan you can survive for 10 days. The real victory is building a kitchen that makes the strong choice the easy choice. That is how muscles get fed. That is how joints get backed up. That is how swelling starts losing some of its grip on your day. One meal will not change your life, but one better pattern absolutely can. And let me say this plain because it matters. Getting older does not mean you are doomed to feel weak, soft, stiff, swollen, and worn down. Your body may ask for more support now, yes, but support can come from ordinary food, common sense, and steady habits, not just from expensive products barking at you through a screen. That is good news because real food can stay with you long after hype burns out. So the next time you shop, do not get hypnotized by loud packaging and dramatic promises. Look at the quiet workers: sardines, cottage cheese, lentils, tuna, eggs, Greek yogurt, beans, avocado, spinach, berries, broth. These foods may not strut down a runway, but they can help build a body that feels more capable, more stable, and more alive. And that is worth far more than a fancy label. If you are ready for a little extra fire, let us dig even deeper, because some people are not just worried about muscle. They are worried about legs that feel like sandbags, knees that creak like old doors, and mornings that begin with stiffness before the day has even started. When that happens, food becomes more than fuel. It becomes a quiet way of taking back ground. Start with the easiest shift. Put protein at the center of the day instead of treating it like an afterthought. A breakfast of toast and jam alone may taste fine, but it does not give your muscles much to work with. Add eggs, add yogurt, add cottage cheese, add beans on the side. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to stop making your body beg for building material. At lunch, stop settling for meals that leave you sleepy and hungry an hour later. Add tuna to the salad, spread sardines on toast with lemon, toss lentils into soup, layer beans into a bowl with greens and olive oil. These are small moves, but small moves repeated often become a strong lifestyle instead of a weak wish. Dinner is another chance to cash in. Build around something solid, maybe eggs with vegetables and beans, maybe chicken and spinach, maybe lentil stew with a spoon of yogurt, maybe a bowl of broth with beans and greens. Your meals do not need to look like magazine spreads. They need to help you stand taller, recover better, and move with less strain. There is also a money piece here that cannot be ignored. A lot of older adults are trying to protect their health on a tight budget, and that can feel brutal when every aisle seems built to empty your wallet. But this is where basic foods become almost rebellious. Beans do not care about trends. Eggs do not care about marketing. Sardines do not need a glowing celebrity endorsement to do their job. That is the beauty of them. They work without the costume. And when swelling is part of the problem, the answer is often not found in another salty packaged snack, another sugary drink, or another shortcut meal that leaves your body more inflamed and more bloated. The answer is usually cleaner and calmer. More water-rich foods, more minerals from real sources, more potassium from produce, beans, and nuts. Less nonsense, less hidden sodium, less fake comfort that makes you feel worse later. That is why avocado can feel like a rescue instead of just a trend. That is why a bowl of watermelon on a hot day can feel like relief. That is why beans, spinach, apricots, and pistachios earn their keep. They are not screaming for praise. They are simply doing the work under the hood, helping your system run a little smoother instead of a little rougher. Then there is the emotional side of all this, and it is huge. When your body feels weak, swollen, or stiff, it does not just affect your muscles. It messes with your mood. It chips at your confidence. It makes you hesitate before doing ordinary things. Food alone will not heal every fear, but eating in a way that supports your body can start rebuilding trust between you and the mirror, between you and the staircase, between you and the long walk across a parking lot. That trust matters. So do not wait for some perfect Monday. Do not wait for a bigger paycheck. Do not wait until another flare-up scares you into action. Start with what is cheap, honest, and available. A can of sardines, a tub of yogurt, a pot of beans, a carton of eggs, a bag of lentils, a bunch of spinach, a handful of berries, a ripe avocado, a container of broth. None of this looks dramatic on a receipt, but the payoff can be fierce. You are not trying to impress the internet. You are trying to build a body that helps you live your life. That means choosing foods that can show up in the real world, not just in a fantasy diet that collapses as soon as life gets busy. The loudest products are not always the strongest. Sometimes the strongest foods are the ones sitting there quietly, waiting for someone smart enough to notice. And here is something else worth remembering. Consistency beats intensity. A giant health kick that burns bright for 4 days and dies on day 5 will not do much. But eggs most mornings, beans most weeks, yogurt in the fridge, berries on the counter, spinach in dinner, and broth in the cupboard. That kind of pattern can slowly turn the tide. It is not flashy, it is effective. That is what you want. When you make these foods part of your regular life, the wins start stacking. Meals feel more filling, energy feels steadier, recovery feels less punishing, cravings can calm down, your budget gets less battered. Your body starts getting the message that you are finally feeding it like an ally instead of confusing it with junk and hoping for miracles. So yes, build around the cheap protein stars. Yes, add the foods that support fluid balance. Yes, bring in the foods that help your body keep its natural repair systems running. But above all, keep it simple enough to repeat. That is where the real power lives. A simple meal you eat often is worth more than a complicated plan you never stick with. If your legs have been talking back, if your joints have been acting rude, if your strength has felt like it is slipping through your fingers, take this as your signal. Not a guilt trip, not a scare tactic, a signal. Your body is asking for better support, and better support may be closer, cheaper, and more doable than you thought. Maybe tonight it starts with a bowl of lentil soup. Maybe tomorrow it starts with eggs and spinach. Maybe lunch becomes tuna with crackers and fruit. Maybe you keep Greek yogurt ready for the moment you would have grabbed something sugary instead. Maybe you cook beans on Sunday and thank yourself 3 times during the week. Those are not tiny choices. Those are foundation stones. The strongest version of aging is not built by pretending time is not real. It is built by answering time with strategy. Feed the muscles, support the joints, ease the swelling, protect the budget, repeat. That is not glamorous, but it is sharp, grounded, and powerful. So the next time someone tells you that getting stronger after 60 has to be expensive, smile and keep walking. You will know better. You will know that some of the toughest foods in the store come in plain tubs, dull cans, simple bags, and modest cartons. You will know that quiet food can still bring loud results. And if you have been feeling discouraged, hear this part carefully. You are not broken just because your body needs a different kind of care now. You are not weak because you are tired of wasting money on things that do not help. You are not behind because you are learning a smarter way. You are adapting. You are getting sharper. You are finally turning toward what works. That is why I keep coming back to these foods. Not because they are magical, because they are dependable. They are steady. They are affordable. They are useful. And useful is beautiful when your goal is real strength, real movement, and real comfort in your own skin. So take the pressure off. You do not have to overhaul your whole life by sunset. Just start. Buy one better thing, eat one stronger meal, build one smarter habit, then do it again tomorrow. A body rebuilds one choice at a time. A kitchen becomes powerful one shelf at a time. A stronger future starts with a single honest meal. That is the secret nobody can sell you in a shiny jar. The body loves support it can trust. Give it that support often enough, and it starts paying you back in steadier steps, stronger legs, calmer joints, and a life that feels more yours again. That is not hype. That is the kind of progress worth chasing. So open the pantry, open the fridge, look past the flashy nonsense, pick the foods that work, then let those simple, stubborn, powerful choices do what they do best. Help you stay strong, stay steady, and stay in the fight with a little more fire every single day. One more thing, and this part matters more than any hype ever will. Pay attention to how your body answers these foods. Notice which meals leave you steady instead of sleepy. Notice which breakfasts keep you full instead of hunting for sugar by mid-morning. Notice whether your legs feel less heavy, whether your joints complain a little less, whether getting up from a chair feels smoother after a few steady weeks. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shows up as less puffiness in your shoes, a little more spring in your steps, a little less fear when you reach for the stairs. Those quiet wins count. They count a lot. And do not make the mistake of thinking you have to eat perfectly to earn results. Life is messy. Appetites change. Budgets get tight. Energy swings. Some days you will cook. Some days you will barely want to open a can. That is fine. The goal is not to become flawless. The goal is to build a way of eating that is sturdy enough to survive real life. Keep a few dependable foods around. Keep the bar low enough that you can still clear it on a rough day, because the rough days are exactly when simple, strong habits save you. That is how this works in the real world. Not through guilt, not through fear, through simple choices with sharp purpose. You feed your body like it matters, and over time, your body answers back. Remember, the point is not to eat like a machine. The point is to stop feeding weakness by accident. A stronger body is usually built with boring consistency, not dramatic bursts of motivation. Keep the foods that serve you close. Make the better option easy to reach. Let your kitchen do some of the hard work for you. When that happens, strength stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling like a routine. And routine, when it is built well, can be downright savage in the best possible way. That is how food hits hard long after loud promises fade away.